Hello everybody, I'm Joel. We are Silver Arrow Cars, and this is our 1993 Porsche 968 Club Sport, and the final version of a front-engine water-cooled Porsche. This is the evolution of the 924 and the 944, and this would be, I would say, the best of the best. This is the Club Sport version in Grand Prix white, and truly a really special car. These were only delivered in the rest of the world, so us North Americans, we did not have access to the 968 Club Sport. This was only delivered in the rest of the world, and this car specifically was delivered in Belgium and very close to where it was built. And we know that because we have this book that has tons of history with documents going all the way back to delivery, full documentation of the mileage, services while it was overseas, and since it has been in North America. The car is in phenomenal condition. It is very, very close to new condition. There was a number of options that were available on the 968. This one has a optional sunroof, which a lot of people didn't go for, probably because they were going for a pure Club Sport spec, but the realistic or the real world scenario was a lot of these were driven on the street. So it does have the power popping sunroof. It's got the Club Sport wheels. It is finished in Grand Prix white. It was originally spec'd with a radio delete. A radio has been added, but that could be then easily removed. It also had the Recaro cloth mechanical seats, which are not in the car currently. Those come with the car, and we'll show you those separately. And then it has this second set of seats that are very correct. These are Recaro pole position Grand Prix white back seats that would have been an option back when you purchased the car. Sunroof and then radio delete cup, and I think that rounds them out. There's about 4 options that this car came with brand new. So speaking specifically about this car has been in a collection for the last couple of years, and before that was offered for the first time in North America for sale a couple of years before that. As I said, it retains its factory paint. The rocker panels that are a plastic rocker panel, those were refinished and repainted by Coachworks, our trusted restorer here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. This car that we're looking at today and that you are likely bidding on, this is sitting in Blaine, Washington. That's just above Seattle, and it's sitting on an Ohio title. So wherever it is you want to register this in the United States, it is coming to you on an Ohio title in our name. The car, as I said in that book, has a ton of history going all the way back to Tag Porsche in Belgium. There's some original, what looks to be delivery sheets, and then year after year, there is documentation of services, mileage, registrations, and so on. That'll all be in the auction for you to see. It did pass its government inspection when it came up here to Canada. That is a pretty rigorous inspection, very much like a pre-purchase inspection at a dealership. And then it was serviced by an Audi Red Seal mechanic, which owned this car. In his collection, he's got a number of Porsche, and this is one that he has coveted for a number of years, and some other interesting cars as well. In preparation for sale, it had a big service before it left Belgium in 2018, which is only about 300 kilometers ago. And then since then, the previous owner and the collector, he replaced the front rotors. We replaced the tires with a brand new set of Michelins, as it had about 15-year-old tires on it, as it's mostly been sitting in collections for the last number of years. We'll walk you around the exterior of the car, but it is phenomenal across all the painted surfaces. As I said, we'll do paint meter readings, and we'll have a separate video for that where we'll show you the paint meter readings around the car. Really, the only place that there's going to be any really marks to show is understandably on the front bumper here. They have been touched up, but other than that, Really spectacular condition across the entire car. The wheels, as I said, the tires. The underside you could eat off of. It looks beautiful and extremely well preserved. We had that dry ice cleaned in preparation for marketing and sale. When we get into the interior, you're going to see that as well. The interior is in extremely good condition. All the surfaces feel what I would think would be as new, very, very close. The fabric on the Recaro seats is as new, as is the feel of the cushioning in them. Center console and shifter, again, across the dash is very much like new. The gauges, or the cluster, and then both the luminosity of the needles in both the tachometer and the speedometer are very, very orange still, which is something that can fade in some cars. Steering wheel, that is probably the best feeling steering wheel I've had in my hands in a long time. Very reminiscent of a roof wheel from 90s cars. Door panels, again, the grab handle and the armrest, handle, tops of the doors, this is all very much like new. Same thing goes with the door sills, the small plastic door sill. Headliner, same thing. The action of the sun visors, same thing. The amount of resistance, they're not all worn, they don't want to sag. The hydraulic stanchions or shocks for the rear hatch are like new. Everything back here, again, is tidy, tidy, tidy. The seal even around the hatch, the metal venting that you can see in and around the edges of the hatch, impeccable. The net here is still with the car, the cargo net in the back, and then the carpet itself is just, again, I'm reusing the same thing over and over, but incredibly immaculate. That is absolutely collector grade. Stanchions work exactly the way that they should and hold up the hood as you would hope. Very, very tidy engine compartment. The intake, the aluminum for the intake plenum and top of the engine, all of which doesn't have any weird corrosion that you'd get from salty climates. Factory Cosmoline is apparent throughout the engine compartment. The labels all still attached. The strut towers, down in the nooks and crannies where it would be really hard for someone to clean out, all of that is very, very tidy and fresh. I drove this car and it was very, very surprising. I hope you watch our driving video. These were a water-cooled 3-liter inline four, so a large bore, high compression 4-cylinder that made 240 horsepower. 240 horsepower in today's standards isn't massive, but in this car with the 6-speed manual transmission, quite enjoyable. It was really, really fun. We actually, it is a limited slip rear diff. That was an option I didn't mention at the beginning. On those older tires, but it did feel like going uphill as well. It wanted to break loose. So it's quite a torquey 4-cylinder engine. It's fun to drive, and sitting in those Recaro pole position seats, it communicates all the emotion and nostalgia that you would hope for in these really iconic front engine Porsche cars. All right, so wrapping up the video here on our 1993 Porsche 968 Club Sport. What do you need to know about these cars, or what is relevant to this specific car itself? Well, this was one of 1,232 cars that was sold for the entire world. This is one of those cars. It is sitting here today in its factory original Grand Prix white paint. This was a car that was optioned. They had very limited options, but this car was optioned with a limited slip rear differential. It was optioned originally with radio delete. It was optioned originally with a full mechanical left and right comfort seats, and we'll show you a video of those right here. But the seats fitted to the car currently are very period correct. These are Recaro hardback pole position seats, finished with the Grand Prix white backs, as you could have got in the day when you were buying this car. It was also optioned with a sunroof, so limited slip rear differential, the left and right Recaro comfort seats, as well as these Recaro pole position seats that were added after. Delivered new in Belgium, where it stayed up until 2018. Nearly full service records, but service records right through from the beginning up until when it left Belgium, and then inspections and service records since being in Canada. 2018, when it left Belgium, is when it had 73,030 kilometers. So there's only really been 300 kilometers added since. In preparation for sale, it's got new rotors and pads in the front. We did new tires all the way around. This is very much a collector grade 968 Club Sport, something that should be in any serious Porsche collector's collection. It is significant in that it's the last edition of a water-cooled front engine Porsche before they got to Cayenne and Panamera later on in the years. This car we have sitting in our Blaine, Washington warehouse, and we have it titled in our name in Ohio. So wherever this car needs to go, whether it's out of the country or it stays in the United States, one way or the other, we can help you with that. As far as shipping, we can get this car anywhere it needs to go. That is not a problem. Please just ask us and we will get it to your doorstep or into your garage. And I think that about wraps it up. Please, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We can get into any finer details you like. You can find us on the internet, silverarrowcars.com. You can find us on Instagram at silverarrowcars, or you can just Google us and find the phone number and give us a call. So I hope you enjoy. Please see the full photo gallery that comes along with it, as well as have a look at the driving video where we take it out for a drive. You can see this car on the road. All the documents that I just mentioned that give it history going right back into Belgium, and all of its servicing and mile documentation, that is uploaded and that is visible to see. So an impeccable car, very impressive condition. Again, in its original paint. We'll have paint meter video separately, and hopefully this goes to a very loving Porsche enthusiast. Thank you very much.